Napa Valley Life Church, thank you again for joining us today. And so what we want to talk about today is that we have a family meeting coming up the 25th at 6 o'clock here at the church. And so we're very excited about it because we're going to be talking about church planting residencies and pastoral residencies. And that might seem really confusing to you right now. And the goal is that we're going to clear that up on Sunday. And we're also going to talk about some candidates that we have for church planting and pastoring. So that meeting again is this Sunday at 6. We're going to have an online component in case you can't make it in person. It will also be in the sanctuary if you can make it in person. And it will be great. So just pay attention to us. We'll get all that information out for you. But one of the things that we're passionate about in our church, and if you know our core values of our church and really our mission statement, we're here to serve the community, make disciples, and plant churches. That's what we're going to be doing. The life of our church, our goal is to see all of Northern California, especially at Napa County, just filled with churches. We want to see, and so that means that we have to train new leaders up. And we want to see those leaders called out from our church, which is really exciting. Again, this Sunday you find out more details. But the other exciting thing is as we bring new leaders up, we want to train them properly. And so we talk about calling and what it means to be a leader or a pastor and all of that. And so this Sunday, we're going to be recommending Zach Jameson into our pastoral residency, which we'll again talk about more on Sunday, what that looks like tangibly. But what that means is that we feel that he's called to be a pastor, and he's recognized that calling, and that he will be, we want to get him trained, which is a residency. So what I want to do today is I want to introduce you to Zach. A lot of you know him. He hosts our Sunday mornings. He's been singing lately. You're just getting famous. He's all over the place right now. But I just want to ask Zach a little bit about your life. So Zach, without going 20, 25 minutes like a good pastor would, we'll get you there in the residency later on. Tell me, how'd you become a Christian?
Well, I grew up in a home that was I had the fortune of growing up with two parents who were Christians, and when I was born, they were very young Christians, but was able to be shepherded and cared for, and also growing up in a really solid church. So I came to know the Lord at a really young age, but then as I grew older, in my teenage years, I really learned what it meant to be. It meant to have a relationship with God. What it meant to seeking after Him, and not inheriting my faith from my parents, but having my faith of my own.
Very cool. And so, I became a Christian. Very similar story, but I knew about 12 years old that I was called to be a pastor. And there's this part of the calling to be a pastor, and it's a big call because we're essentially here to take care of Jesus' bride on earth, and that's a big job. And so that requires a calling from God, affirmation from people, things along those lines. So tell me about your call into ministry. How did you feel that come up? What was that like?
Yeah, definitely. Growing up in the church, there was always being a pastor or pastoring was a concept I understood very well. A lot of my friends' parents were pastors, or as I got older, some of my friends went to seminary and became pastors. So it was something I was very familiar with, but never had felt personally that calling until I came to Napa Valley Life. I remember sitting with Tony and talking about how my desire to see fully formed disciples, people who are going from being young in their faith to being mature in their faith at our church. And that really started to grow in my heart really organically from sharing my life with people here at the church, and then having the desire to see them enjoy and love and know God in a deeper and more meaningful way.
Oh, that's good. That's the big heart. Being a pastor is not always easy. I know everybody says we only work an hour on Sundays. It's not fully accurate. It's about 3 hours spread out throughout the week. But there's a lot that comes with the call. There's times where you're suffering and crying with people. There's times you're and just great joy with people. So tell me about the things that you are looking forward to. And so to give you an idea what the residency is, and again, we'll talk more about this on the 25th, is the residency is a program where we bring a guy like Zach in who we feel like is called to pastor, and we train him for a certain amount of time. And then finally, when we feel like the training is complete, we bring him before the church to be affirmed, to be voted on, prayed on, all that kind of good stuff, ordained into ministry. So tell me about the thing that you're most excited about in being a pastor.
Definitely. It's kind of some of the things that we've already covered. One is I'm really excited as a missionary in Northern California, which I really see being in ministry here in this area as being a missionary to Northern California, is just seeing the church grow. Seeing the church grow practically in numbers, but it's also seeing the church and all the Christians in Northern California multiply, not just here in Napa County, but abroad. So I'm really excited about that, practically helping the church grow, doing everything I can to not only bring in new believers, but also train and disciple members of the church for their own ministry, which is to reach out to their friends and to their family. And so I think that you see that call to go and make disciples, and that the go is while you're going, and the making disciples is what a call for all of us to do. And it's really not just about converting people, but seeing them grow and be fully formed. And so as I see the pastor's role as kind of like a shepherd, like Jesus would talk about, is not only someone who nurtures the sheep to help them grow, but it also is someone that protects them from dangers. And in the life of the church and the life of the Christian, that could be, succumbing to bad ideas or thoughts, or keeping sound doctrine strong, but also showing love and care for people physically, but also spiritually.
Yeah, that's good. So we've talked about the thing you're looking forward to the most. What is the thing that either it makes you the most apprehensive, or maybe we don't want to talk fear-based, but the thing that you go makes you take a deep breath about being a pastor?
Yeah, I think what's going to be the most difficult, is just bearing the burdens of other people, and the sorrows and the heartaches, and just as a pastor, you'll never be able to punch out and walk away from a job that exposes you to the brokenness of a world that is in desperate need of Jesus Christ. I won't be able to walk away from hearing a story of something heartbreaking and not have that weigh heavily on my heart. And so while I look forward to bearing burdens, it will also be a challenge, I think, to bear each other's burdens and to trust in God and to kind of gird people up at the same time.
Yeah, that's really good. We are so excited about the residency, about training up new leaders. I tell the church all the time, I want to be the last outside hire our church ever makes. And so some of you out there who are coming to our church, or maybe you've started watching us online, you might be feeling that God's pulling you into maybe being a pastor or a church planter. And I encourage you, join us on the 25th, learn more. Our church is about training new leaders, whether they're church leaders, directors, deacons, and especially pastors and church planters, which very much fit in that same boat. And so we encourage you, join us this Sunday at 6 o'clock. We'll get you more online information if you can't be in person. And we're going to talk about this. If you're a member, we ask you to be part of this, because we are going to take a couple votes about affirming guys into these residencies and talking about what that means. And as a little bit of homework, yes, even in this video you get a little bit of homework. 1 Timothy 3, I want you to read through that, because it talks about the qualifications for elders. And so I think it's good that we all review those and just know what that is. That's a little bit nerve-wracking, isn't it? But just know those, because it's good to keep your pastors accountable. We love you guys. And it's an exciting time, even in COVID, to see new people called to ministry. So again, please be there the 25th, 6 o'clock here at the church or online, and we'll get you that online information here soon. And we love you guys.
Love you guys.